this idea where I'd travel for a year just festival hopping all around the world. In reality, I'd probably just end up being a crazy few months between like April and August, jumping from country to country, basically like being on tour. It's like being a band but not actually playing any music, you're just there in the crowd. And because I've been grieving for the last month after missing out on Glastonbury tickets.
No! The Twitter says they've now sold out.
Boo. That's so rude. Okay, so Burning Man. I thought this would not only be a good video to work out which festivals you could go to around the world, but also the ones that you could go to instead of Glastonbury. Although I'm pretty sure nothing really gets close to the amount of awesomeness that Glastonbury is. So I'm gonna put these festivals in the order that they come in the year, so just in case you did want to go to all of them, you know, you got to plan down. So obviously this video would be a million years long if I covered every festival around the world, so I thought I would just do a selection of the ones I want to go to and the ones that are the most popular around the world. So let's get started. First one on this list is South by Southwest, which is in mid-March in Austin, Texas, and it costs around $1,000, but it is a huge collection of new music and legends. Basically, artists perform throughout Austin in different bars and hotels and things. There's a bunch of different genres, and I believe there was about 60 different countries represented in the festival, so it's a huge collection of different sounds. And that's just the music portion. There's also art and gaming and a lot of other stuff going on. There's also a lot of free events too. Next up is Coachella. Oh, you can't see it from my hair. Okay, let's try this again. Next up is Coachella, which is located in Indio, California, which is in the desert, so it's bloody hot. And it's in around mid-April, and it happens over 2 weekends. Now, most people are pretty confused about this weekend business, but it's basically the same lineup played twice because they want more people to have an opportunity to see it. So I probably don't really need to tell you what Coachella is. You probably know from all the Instagram posts, but basically, yeah, it's this festival in the desert with some of the biggest bands. I would say it's probably the most famous music festival in the world, but I want to point out that it isn't actually super big. So the price is around $500, $600 depending on the exchange rate, and you pay about $150 extra to camp. So it is pretty pricey. It does cost a lot to get there. You need to fly or get a bus or whatever, wherever you're coming from, so it's pretty pricey. Unlike Glastonbury, where there's a reputation of it being really soggy, Coachella has a reputation of being very dusty, so if you do go to this one, make sure to like wear a mask or something. If you don't, you'll probably get the Coachella cough like I did, and I sound like a man for about a month. Next up is PRIMAVERA Sound, which is in Barcelona, Spain. It happens around the end of May, start of June, and it's around $200 to $300. And it boasts that it brings the biggest Indian alternative bands. It also has a sister festival in Porto, Portugal. Back over to America now, there's the Governor's Ball, which is held at the start of June, and it's around $400. And basically it's like this contemporary music festival with a lot of cool art and food, and it's located in New York. I remember in 2017 I was totally drooling over the lineup. There was Kevin Parker, I guess he was doing Tame Impala, Mark Ronson, Phoenix, and I mean, can someone please just sponsor me to go to this festival? I need to go one day. Moving over to Manchester, Tennessee, we got BONNAROO Music and Arts Festival, which is held at the start of June, and it's around $400-ish, and it's like $80 extra to camp. And basically it's held on a small farm in Tennessee, just another farm festival, although it's not small. They've had people like Lord, U2, Red Hot Chili Peppers, you name it, they've had it. It's a pretty similar lineup to Coachella, just without the flashy, Instagram-y shininess. Back to England, on the same weekend as BONNAROO, we've got Isle of Wight, which is around $300, although it depends if you're a student because they have different price ranges. And they've had people like Arcade Fire play. They just tend to have a solid lineup. Now back to America in the lush woodlands of Dover, Delaware, we've got FIREFLY Festival, which costs around $400, although the camping is around $200 plus. So that is pretty pricey for a camping ticket. And I just want to point out, at Glastonbury you don't actually pay extra for camping, so yeah, it's pretty pricey, but it's in a stunning location. Basically, this festival is known as the people's curated kind of music festival because people cast votes to determine who's gonna play. Some of the bands that have played include Kings of Leon, Disclosure, Tame Impala, Two Door Cinema Club, M83, like literally a friggin' dream. And I think I forgot to mention, but that one's in mid-June. On the same weekend in the Netherlands, there's Best Kept Secret Music Festival, which I think costs around $500, but I don't think the price is online right now. And it's located in Hilvarenbrecht. I'm not too sure on the name. I'll just put it here. And basically it's an indie rock festival in the Netherlands. I mean, do I really need to say more? It just sounds pretty cool. It's actually the weekend before Glastonbury, so in the past I have considered going to Best Kept Secret and then going to Glastonbury, but I've never done it. So one day I'll live that dream. So this is where Glastonbury goes in, and just to compare, it is around $380-ish, and the camping's free, and it has the best lineup. Like, you literally don't need to look at the lineup, you know it's gonna be good. There's over 100 stages. If I say more, I'm gonna cry. So moving on. Then we move on to LATITUDE Festival, which is in Suffolk, England, and it's around $360. Again, that depends on the exchange rate. And it just seems like a pretty cool, relaxing festival. Then there's Mad Cool, which is in Madrid, Spain, again in mid-July, and it boasts like a really good rock lineup every year. They've had people from Kasabian to Tame Impala to Pearl Jam. It's just a solid rock lineup. Now, you've probably seen this next one online. It's Tomorrowland, which always has the coolest production design on all of their stages. It literally looks like Tomorrowland, like the future. It looks really cool. It's definitely the biggest dance festival in the world, and it always has the biggest DJs playing from around the world. And it's held in Boom, Belgium throughout the end of July. Finally, we come to Australia, where we got Splendour in the Grass, which I went to this year, and it was actually friggin' fantastic. So it's in Byron Bay around mid to end July, and it costs around $500 to go if you're camping. I think it's like $3 something if you're not, but I suggest probably camping because it's a really cool vibe. So I feel like basically everyone wants to go to Splendour, and it is pretty hard to get tickets considering I think there's only around 30,000 tickets up for grabs. So it's a hard festival to get into, but once you're there, it's friggin' insane. This year there was Gang of Youths, Vampire Weekend, The Presets, Jungle Giants, just you name it. It was a great lineup this year. Finally, we head to Asia, where we got Fuji Rock Festival, which is held the weekend after Splendour, and it basically piggybacks the same kind of lineup as Splendour. So it's pretty rad. It's held at NIIGATA Ski Resort, which is at Mount Fuji, I believe, and it costs around $500. I feel like I'm using solid a lot in this video, but solid is the word to describe Fuji Rock. And I totally need another excuse to go to Japan because it's freaking stunning. Then we got Outside Lands, which is in San Francisco, and it costs around $500, and it gives me a lot of Moonrise Kingdom vibes. It happens in around mid-August, and some of the bands that have played there are LCD Sound System, Last Shadow Puppets, Lana Del Rey, the Wombats, and they all play at the beautiful Golden Gate Park. Next up we got Reading and Leeds, which is at the end of August, and obviously it's in Reading or Leeds in England, and it costs around $300 to $400 to go. The two festivals take place on the same weekend, and they kind of switch up some of the bands. The next one is not actually a music festival, it's actually Burning Man, which isn't really a music festival, it's more of an arts festival. I don't there's no bands that actually play unless you take a guitar. It's located in the Black Rock Desert in Nevada, and it costs a range of prices. I mean, it starts at like $500 and goes to like $1,500. It just depends when you get your ticket, and the event happens at the end of August. Basically, if you don't know too much about it, it's just like this mini city that's developed in the desert. It happens to be the biggest city in Nevada when it's on, and there's this big structure called the Man or the Burning Man, and by the end of the festival they light it on fire. Next is BUMBERSHOOT in Seattle, Washington, and it's at the start of September. It costs around $200 to $300, and it features a lot of music, comedy, and arts, which, I mean, it seems to have it all. I think one year they had Tame Impala, and basically I feel like this whole list is based upon if the festival has had Tame Impala. Then over 2 weekends in October, we've got Austin City Limits, which is in Austin, Texas. Prices start around $300 to $400. So it basically happens over the 2 weekends, and it's basically the same lineup with a few variations over the different weekends. Last but not least, we got Falls Festival, which is basically the summer splendor. If you go to the one in BYRON, it happens over New Year's, and basically it shares pretty similar lineup to Splendor, although it is in the peak of summer, so it's bloody freaking hot. And that is kind of why I'm not going this year, because I don't want to die. Also, the lineup is too similar to Splendor, and I already went to Splendor this year, so it seems to me that it's basically just the same lineup, but without the headliners. So I don't see a point in going to a festival that's like the same price with less stuff and probably death heat. So that's why I'm not going this year, but I know I'll definitely go another year. The only main difference is it's a traveling festival, so it does happen all around Australia. So basically that is all the options if you've missed out on tickets to Glastonbury, or if you want to travel to all of them. It will be a very jam-packed year. I can see a lot of back and forth going on, also a lot of them overlap, so you would have to pick and choose which ones you really want to go to. But I guess more realistically, it would be a better idea to just stick to one area. Just say if you went to America, just stick to there and go to all those festivals, or Europe and do all those festivals, because it could end up being very expensive. But I say just dream big. For me, I'm probably going to try the Glastonbury resale, although getting tickets through that is very unlikely, but there's no harm in trying. I think I'm pretty much set on going to Splendor if the lineup's good, but definitely Fuji Rock. I want to go to Fuji Rock. I want an excuse to go to Japan. So if I did those two, I would be pretty happy with life. It would be a bit of a mad dash going from Splendor to Fuji. There's only like the week in between that you can fly to Japan, but I think it's doable. So let me know in the comments which festivals you want to go to, and let me know if I've missed any really important, awesome festivals, because obviously I couldn't fit everything in this list. And please subscribe if you want more videos like this, and until next time, keep wandering.